In this lesson, we will practice graphing parabolas whose vertices are not right at the origin. Now, we know that the original parabola that we learned about in middle school or freshman year was y equals x squared. All right, so that was your nice normal parabola that looked like this. Okay, this was the first parabola you ever learned. So that was y equals x squared. That means if you see x squared, that's a normal parabola, all right, upward facing. We learned that if it had a negative in front of it, like negative x squared, then that had the effect of turning it upside down. Okay, but either way, if you see x squared, you know it's either up or down, depending on if it's positive or negative. On the other hand, if you see something strange that you haven't seen before, if you see y squared instead of x, that's new. That means it must be a weird sideways parabola like this. If it's positive, or if it's negative, that would mean it's sideways to the left. Okay? But either way, if you see good old x squared, that means it's either up or down. But if you see this strange new y squared, that means it's going to be sideways. Okay? Looking at number 7. Is this up, down, left, or right? I see y squared. That's the unusual one. We're used to y equals x squared. Okay, that would be up. But y squared is sideways. And since it's positive, it will be to the right. Okay, now the vertex. The vertex is going to be the opposite of this and this. Please make sure that the x coordinate comes from the x part of the equation. So the vertex will be positive 1, comma, negative 1. It's the opposite of both of these. So the vertex will be positive 1, comma, negative 1. Go ahead and graph that. 1, negative 1. Now we need that p value. Well, we know that 4p is going to equal this 8. So if I divide, that means p is equal to 2. Now, that means I'm going to go 2 to the right, like we said. So starting from here, if I go 2 to the right, that means my focus, this is my focus. So my focus is 3, negative 1. Now my directrix should be in the opposite direction. Okay, so if I go 2 in this direction, it puts me here. Okay, so there's my directrix, and that's x equals negative 1. All right, this stands for focal width. We're going to need that next anyway. The focal width is 8, so there you go. The focal width, so that tells me the width of the parabola at the focus is 8, which means I need to go, from the focus, I need to go 4 up and 4 down. Okay, and then I can just draw it from there. Okay, that is it for number 7. Number 8. Okay, so for number 8, is this up, down, left, or right? All right, I see the x squared, all right? And the first parabola we ever learned was y equals x squared. So that's looking normal to me. So I know it's going to be either up or down. With the negative on the 12, that makes it down. This has nothing to do with it. So I know it's going to be down. Okay. Now, I need the vertex. Well, it'll be the opposite of this and then the opposite of this. Remember, this plane y is like having y plus 0. All right, so this will be a 0. So it'll be positive 2, comma, 0. So that's my vertex. So 2, comma, 0. Let's go ahead and graph that. All right, 2, comma, 0 is right here. Now we need that p-value. And we know that 4p is equal to this negative 12. If I divide by 4, that means p is equal to negative 3. That tells me where to put the focus. Now, remember we said it will be down. So we will start at the vertex and go down 3. So the focus will be here. That's 2, comma, negative 3. Now the directrix should be the same distance to the other side. Okay, so what did I say? 3, so I'll go up 3 like this. And so my directrix will be here. Okay, so that is the line y equals 3. Don't just put 3, by the way. It's got to be y equals 3. Now the focal width is going to be 12. All right, focal width comes from right here. Please do not put negative. A width cannot be negative. So the focal width is 12. That means here at the focus, the width is 12. So that means 6 to the right and 6 to the left. If you counted this up, that'd be a total of 12. That's the focal width. All right, and then we can just go ahead and do the graph. Okay, there you go. That was number 8. Let's look for number 9. Okay, so next, once again, we ask ourselves, is this up, down, left, or right? All right, well, I see we've got y squared here. All right, what we're used to is y equals x squared. That was the first parabola we ever met. Y squared is sideways. So it will either be right or left. Now, because it's got the negative on here, it will be to the left. All right, notice these signs inside the parentheses have nothing to do with that. Okay, next we need the vertex. It will be the opposite of this one and then that one. Make sure your x-coordinate comes from the x part of the equation. So negative 1, comma 1, opposites. Negative 1, comma positive 1. So there's our vertex, so let's graph it. Negative 1, positive 1. Okay, next we need that p-value. So look guys, 4p is equal to negative 16.
Please excuse this interruption. Juniors and seniors, if you are checking out at 12:30 and you have your checkout notes, you need to exit the building and not walk around the hall. You need to go on and leave. Thank you.
Okay. It's a little crazy out there. We found a p-value of negative 4, and we knew it would be to the left. So we went 4 to the left of the vertex here. Now we need those other values next. Well, I should write this down. So that's negative 5, comma 1 for my focus. Now the directrix will be in the opposite direction. Okay, so I went, 4 to the left, so I'm going to go 4 to the right. Alright, so there's my directrix, and it is at x equals 3. Alright, vertical lines are always x equals. Now the focal width, is 16. Do not include the negative sign. And that tells me where to put my other two values. So looking at the focus, the width needs to be 16. So that means 8 up and 8 down for a total of 16. All right, and that allows me to draw the parabola. Okay, and there you go. That was number 9. All right, last one. Let's take a look at number 10. All right, one more time. Is this up, down, left, or right? Well, I see it's x squared. All right, that's the normal one that we're used to. The first graph we ever saw was y equals x squared. So I know this will either be up or down. Because it's positive here, then I know it's going to be up. Okay, next I need the vertex. Notice a plane x squared right here. This is just like having x plus 0 squared. So this is a 0. So this is going to be 0, comma, negative 1. Opposite. So that's my vertex. So 0, comma, negative 1. Go ahead and graph that. 0, comma, negative 1 is my vertex. Now we need that p value. And we know that 4p is equal to 12. So if I divide by 4, p is 3. Now, I said it would be up. So I'm going to do up 3 from the vertex. So 1, 2, 3. So there's my focus, 0, comma, 2. Now the directrix will be in the opposite direction. Alright, so instead of up 3, my directrix will be down 3. So my directrix is here. Okay, by the way, that is the line y equals negative 4. Alright, don't just put negative 4, put y equals negative 4. Very important. Now, we're going to need this focal width anyway next, so might as well write it down. Focal width is 12. Alright, that gives me the width of the parabola at the focus. So that means right here the parabola must be 12 wide. That means 6 to the right and 6 to the left. Okay, so that allows me to draw my parabola. All right, and that is it for number 10. I hope this video was helpful to you. I will see you on the next video. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.